Texas 27, Texas A&M 17. The night game on Black Friday. Where were you? Where were you? Were you out at Walmart? Were you out at Target? Were you shopping for shoes, for Christmas gifts? What were you doing? Because you should have been on your couch watching this football game. That's what you should have been doing. Because from the start to the finish, this game was awesome. This is what rivalries are about, ladies and gentlemen. This right here is what rivalries are about. Okay, and if you don't believe that, think about when we didn't have this rivalry for the past 15 years after Texas A&M left for the SEC, and we didn't get this every Thanksgiving weekend. People were sad. People were depressed. Now people are happy. Now people are excited for rivalry weekend again, okay? Because we're getting rivalries that we didn't have before for the last 15, 16 years, and now we got them again. Do not let people take this away from us ever again. Do not let them say, hey, we're going to go to a new conference, so we're not going to play this game again. OU and Oklahoma State are doing this right now. Whoever is in charge, whoever needs to get anything done right there, just get together, figure it out, and play that game every single year because we missed it with Texas and Texas A&M, and it's awesome to have it back. Okay, now we're going to jump into the game. You heard it, Texas 27, Texas A&M 17. Who called it? We did. Here, boom, boop, boop, boop. Here, we did. Ian Fritts show. We said it 3 weeks ago. We said, hey, they're going to either beat Georgia or beat Texas A&M. I think they're going to beat Texas A&M, which means they would not beat Georgia. They didn't beat Georgia, and what do you know? They beat Texas A&M. We've had it in our college football playoff prediction for the past 3 weeks. We said, hey, Texas A&M is down there at 7 because they lose to Texas. Okay, a lot of people didn't get through that noggin of theirs. They were like, why is Texas A&M at 7? They're undefeated. Yeah, because I'm predicting they're going to lose to Texas here in a few weeks. And what do you know? It happened. Now, how did it happen? We're going to talk about Texas first because they did end up winning this football game. Okay, if you're new here, the way I do things on my preview show is I give 4 or 5 things on a script. I call it the game script for Texas to win the football game. Okay, so I give you 4 things. If Texas does these 4 things, they win the football game. The game script for Texas, and we're going to go one by one here to see if Texas accomplished these things. The first one, win the rushing battle. Okay, they were 100th all year in rushing statistically coming into the football game offensively. Could not run the football all year long. A&M's defense is 53rd, so maybe maybe it changed for Texas right now. Maybe they're able to get something going on the ground, okay? Did they accomplish that? Yes. Check, 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 check. 35 for 218, 2 touchdowns, 6.2 yards per carry, and especially in that second half, Quintravion Wisner, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say his name again, Quintravion Wisner, just because it's a really fun name to say, and he was a stud all night, I should say. So they were able to run the football, hadn't been able to run the football all year long. And what do you know? Boom, they turned things around against their rival, against the Aggies at home when they needed it to happen most. They got it done. Check. Boom. Win the rushing battle. Yes, they won it by almost 60, 70 yards on Friday night. So that they're 1 for 1. Good for Texas. 1 for 1 in the game script. Hey, my game script is doing pretty good, isn't it? Yes, it is, Ian. Thank you. Number 2. I said the O-line protection would need to be better than it has been all year long. If you remember coming into this game really all year long, and it had gotten better, but Arch Manning had been living in the dirt. He'd been buried virtually every single game about 4 or 5 times each game. He was not doing well. He was bruised. He was broken. He was breathing in the dirt. That's how much he was on the ground. And I said, this needs to be better against this defensive line from Texas A&M if Texas wants to win the football game. Was it better? I think so. I think it's a check again. So we're 2 for 2. They only gave up 2 sacks all game long. And they held Cassius Howell, one of the leading sack getters in the entire country, to 0 sacks. 0 sacks for Cassius Howell in this football game. I'm going to call the offensive line protection from Texas a success in this football game. So boom, we're 2 for 2 on Texas's script or keys to win this football game. Good for Texas. Good for Texas. The third one was crowd noise, ladies and gentlemen. I said, hey, the crowd noise for Texas is going to have to affect Texas A&M. Texas A&M has been susceptible to penalties, okay? They were 127th in penalties per game coming into this football game, and that trend continued, especially the timeliness of these penalties or the lack of timeliness of these penalties. They came at crucial times in the football game. We're going to look at a couple of those here right now. So crowd noise, I said it's got to force some penalties. It's got to make it hard for Marcel Reed on a 3rd down to get things done. So we're going to jump right in right here. 8 for 62, but they were all costly, as I mentioned earlier. In the first quarter, A&M, they're driving. They have a short down, maybe I think 3rd and 2 or third and 6, something like that. Not 3rd and 6, 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3, and it bumps back to a 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 7 because of a false start, because of that crowd noise from Texas. Hey, boom, keys right there. Now you're 3 for 3. The crowd noise, it backs them up. Boom. A&M has to kick a field goal. What happens on that field goal? It gets blocked. Hey, huge success. The crowd is already affecting the game. So we're 3 for 3 for Texas in the keys to win the football game. But again, the penalties continued. In the third quarter, 3 minutes left in the third quarter, Texas is down 10 to 13. Close game. 4th and 1. Texas is up 10 to 13. A&M's going for it. 4th and 1. 4th and 1 on the plus side. Okay, so they're moving the ball in Texas. They're about to drive. If they get this 1 yard, maybe they kick a field goal. Maybe they tie the game. Maybe they go score a touchdown and take the lead 17 to 13. What do you know? Boom, false start. A&M has to punt. Okay, so the crowd noise, again, affecting Texas A&M. That's 2 crucial times where, hey, they're going to get points on a field goal or maybe they're going to score a touchdown. Boom, no, false start both times, backs them up. They have to punt and they have to miss a field goal. And then the third one, honestly, not even the crowd noise, but it's still the penalties, again, come into play. And it was Cassius Howell, Texas A&M. In the fourth quarter, Texas is up 20 to 17. They have the ball, and I think Texas A&M's 35, 30-yard line, somewhere around there. So it's 3rd and 8. 3rd and 8. Texas is probably going to have to settle for a field goal and go up by 6. Offsides by Cassius Howell makes it to a 3rd and 3. The very next play is Arch Manning's touchdown run that ices the game. So the penalties, the crowd noise, boom, you're 3 for 3 for Texas. And then number 4, I said Texas is going to have to force field goals if they want to win this game. They can't let Marcel Reed and those wide receivers score a bunch of touchdowns. What do you know? They forced 2 field goals, and one of them ended up being blocked, as I mentioned earlier. So that's a success for Texas. Boom, they were 4 for 4 in the keys, win the rushing battle, protect Arch Manning better, force penalties via the crowd noise, and then force field goals. 4 for 4, and what do you know? It leads to a victory for the Texas Longhorns. Now, A&M. What happened for the Aggies? The script for A&M. Number 1, I said they need explosive touchdowns in the past game to win the football game. Let's dive into that. Nope, didn't happen for Texas A&M. They had no passing touchdowns all game. So not even just explosive touchdowns. They couldn't even buy a touchdown in the passing game because that Texas secondary was like glue on Friday night, okay? Their longest pass or rush in this football game ended up being 28 yards. They couldn't. This has been one of the most explosive offenses in all of college football, and they were totally shut down on Black Friday by the Texas Longhorn defense. So you're 0 for 1 for Texas A&M. No good. No good. Number 2, I said the run game is consistent like it has been all year. Ruben Owens, running back, averaged 3.7 yards per carry, well below his average this season, so it was not good. You look at 34 for 157. I believe that comes out at 4.6 yards per carry, but that's a little deceiving because Marcel Reed was really the only one to get anything going on the ground, and that had to do with a lot of QB scramble, not a lot of designed runs from Marcel Reed. Anticipated that to happen a little more, and I realized they should have attacked that a little more, but they didn't. I'm not a coach. Not gonna say I know better than Colin Klein there up in the booth, but thought you might attack that a little more. So you're 0 for 2. Explosive pass touchdowns, run game is consistent, nope. And then third was the pass rush had to be successful like it had been all year. This was a group that some were saying was the best defensive line in the country coming into this football game. Some were saying Cassius Howell's the best defensive player in the country coming into this football game. And he might be, even after a game like this. They were getting double, triple teamed up there on Cassius Howell. So only 2 sacks. I wouldn't say that is a successful day for Texas A&M when they were racking up 4 or 5 a game. So 0 for 3 for Texas A&M. That leads to a loss. However, that's okay because Texas A&M, you are still in the playoffs. You are going to host a college football playoff game down there at Kyle Field. That place is going to be rocking. The 12th man is going to be insane. Wouldn't put it past you to win a football game, and you're right back to where you would have been had you made it to the SEC championship game. Now, Texas, you're out. I don't care what anybody says. Bam, get them out. Nope, not going to make it. And it's not because you scheduled Ohio State. Okay, no. It's because you lost to 3-8 Florida, who is now 4-8. So Texas is out. Texas A&M is in, and they are going to host a playoff game.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and fakes. Jalen wants Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game.
45, 40, 45, 50, 45,